So what I will say, ls dot remove of 34. 34 is present here. Just observe this list. So it is present here. If I give 34, okay, that element will be removed. Okay. Now whenever I print the list, that is ls, I will get 5, 8, minus 12 and 2 as the output. 34 will be the removed value. Next. Now just observe here. I have 34 repeated here. Okay. But I will give ls dot remove of 34 here. So which value will be gone now? The first occurrence will usually go. In case of duplication, okay, remove function will remove the first element that is there in the list. So first element that is present is in the 0, 1, 2, 3, third location. So that element will be removed. All the other things will be as it is whenever you print a ls value. Next, just observe this. Pop element or pop function, okay, will return the value that is deleted for you, okay, whereas remove function will not return anything, okay, but it returns none. Fine. Next, how to use lists and functions together. Which are the functions that you can use apart from the list or along with lists? So there are certain functions called max, min, sum, len. It is self-explanatory. What does max do? Max will give you the maximum element in the list. So for example, let me take a list first. Okay. So let me take 3, 12, 5, 26, 32, 1, 4. This is my original list. Assume that it is my original list. So if I say max of ls, what is the maximum element that is there in this particular list? It is 32. So it prints 32 as the output. Similarly, if I want minimum, I can use min function, min of ls, which prints 1 as the output because the minimum element is 1 in the list. Similarly, sum of ls, if you add all these elements, you will get a value. That is 3 plus 12 is 15, 15 plus 5 is 20, 20 plus 26 is 46, 46 plus 32 is 77, 3 plus 12 is 15, 20, 20 plus 26 is 46 plus 32, 46 plus 32 would be 78, 78 plus 1 is 79 plus 4, 83. So it prints 83. So whenever you use sum function, you will get the sum of the list, which is nothing but 83 in this case. Next, len of ls, what does it print? I have already explained you. It gives you the count of how many elements are there. So here, if you observe, there are 7 elements. That's why the output is 7. Now, how to find the average by using this? Okay, 2 functions can be used for finding the average. One is sum, one more is len. So sum of ls divided by len of ls will give you the average. Store it in a variable called avg, then print it. The usual average that you get for this particular list is 11.85. Fine. Next, just observe this code. So using this code, what I am doing, I am finding the average. For that, I need to find the sum, okay, first, and then divide it by length of that list. Okay. So how to go about this code or start this code is, you create an empty list. How to create an empty list? You have a constructor called list. I've already explained in the previous video. Just refer it. ls is equal to list will create an empty list. So ls will become an empty list for you now. While true, because it is always true, till you give the value, till you are giving a value, it should keep on taking, right? That's why I am using a while loop here. Fine. So how while loop works actually, if you observe, till the condition is true, till it is true, it will keep on taking the input here. Okay. Now, if x is equal to done, I am breaking. That means till the user gives done, I am taking the input. I am giving the number that I want. Next, what I am doing, x is equal to float of x. I am converting that, okay, value into float value and storing it into x itself. Fine. Next, ls dot append of x. That means each value that you take, you are converting it into float and you are appending it into the list. Fine. Next, average is equal to sum of ls. Sum of ls means what? Suppose if I have taken 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, the sum will give you 6.0 as the value. Divided by len of ls means 3, because I have given 3 elements. So it will be 6 divided by 3, the average will be 2, so it will print the average for you. How to print the average? Use print function, give a message to the user first, that is some string as the output, that is the average, because you are printing the average. This should be the apt string to give here. Next, comma, average. Next, in the above program, okay, it has been explained what is happening here. You know what is happening, fine. So it will compute the average for you, okay. Until you press done, until you give done, it will be keep on repeating the while loop, means you will be giving the value continuously, okay. So this is a simple thing. Now we will see one more user defined data type, which is called tuple. You can give tuple. It is also similar to list, but it is it cannot, like, the values inside a tuple cannot be changed. That I'll tell you later, okay. A tuple is a sequence of items just like list. Then values stored in a tuple can be of any type. That means mixed types are allowed even in tuples, okay, and are indexed using, okay, using integers. So indexing will be followed here also, just like you have in list. Next, observe the third point, that is unlike list. That means like list, they are not, okay, tuples are immutable, we say. Lists are mutable, whereas tuples are immutable. Immutable means what? Tuples cannot be modified or reassigned. The values which are present inside the tuples cannot be modified also, or it cannot be changed also, reassigned also. Fine. So tuples are comparable and hashable objects. So this is one more important point about tuples. They are hashable, means their values can be randomly, okay, changed. Only the locations can be changed, okay, but values will remain same. Next, they are comparable. Comparable means between the first index and second index you can compare the values. Fine. So hence they can be made as keys in dictionaries. So there is one more inbuilt data type, or user defined data type called dictionary. I'll come to that later, okay. Let us stop our discussion in this class on tuples, okay, about only this topic. Now, how to create a tuple in Python? It can be created as a comma separated list of items, okay. May or may not be enclosed with like parenthesis. You can create it without using parenthesis also, mind it. But whenever you created list, what should be must? Square brackets you should use, okay. Whenever you create list, square brackets is a must, whereas here you can omit it or you can give it. But observe here, if you don't give parenthesis also, whenever you print it, you will get with parenthesis. What kind of parenthesis you get? You get a common bracket, okay. Now, if I say T1 is equal to Tom 341 and Jerry, this is a mixed type of tuple, okay, mixed value tuple, wherein two strings I have given and one integer I have given, okay. This is with parenthesis. So whenever I print, this is the output that I get. Fine. Next, fine. What should you observe from this? It can contain mixed type of values also. That means any type of data is valid here, okay. Next, now how to create a value, okay, single value or a tuple with a single value. This is an example for it. X is equal to 3. With a common bracket, I will give the single element. What is the single element here? I am trying to create only a tuple with the value 3. If I print the x value, I will get 3 as the output, okay. So observe here, parenthesis will not be there, okay. Just observe this difference, okay. So whenever I created a value without parenthesis, it gave with parenthesis because I had more than one value, okay. Suppose if you create a single element, it will not give any parenthesis for you. This is a very important thing to note, okay. Next, type of x. What is this type of x? Type of x means what type of, okay, to what type it is mapped in Python. To what type the created tuple will map. Tuple, okay, will be mapped to an integer. Just observe here, it will show the class name as int, not as tuple, mind that. So it will not be a tuple now. It will just say the type of the data that it stores. Okay. Next, tuple with single item, we must include a comma after the item. Just observe here. If I say t is equal to 3 comma, okay. Now if I say type of t, it becomes a tuple. Just observe this. Okay, very important difference between, okay, a tuple and a normal integer. If you just say 3, it will become an integer type. Okay, if you give 3 comma, okay, without parenthesis also, no problem. Fine. Whenever you say type of t, it will become a tuple. So what you should understand is, whenever you give a comma, that means it will understand that as a tuple. Python will understand that as a tuple. But if you just give 3, it will be evaluated as an integer. So type will be a class integer. It belongs to a class called int. This becomes a tuple. For it to become tuple, what I have added? I have added just a comma for that single element. Next, how to create an empty value for a tuple? Just give t1 is equal to a pair of brackets. Which type of brackets? Common brackets. Fine. So if I say type of t1 now, I have created an empty tuple here, if you observe. So it will show it as a class tuple. Similarly, I can use tuple function. Okay. So here, this is like a constructor. Okay. A function called tuple is there, which is a constructor actually. What does it create? It creates an empty tuple, that's all. Okay. So it belongs to tuple class. Next, if we provide an argument to type sequence, a list, a string or a tuple to the method tuple, then a tuple with the elements in the given list will be created. Now just observe here. So t is equal to, I have used tuple function, empty tuple previously. Now I am giving hello as the value. Hello is what? A group of characters. So a tuple with individual values will be created here. How many values I have given? H, E, L, L, O. 5 elements are there. So it will create a tuple with 5 different characters. Now, how to create tuple using list? So I am using clubbing of it. So along with the list, if I have a list inside a tuple, I am creating a tuple with the existing list. Just observe here, tuple of 3 comma 12 comma 5. Okay, 12 comma 5 is a list inside one more list, comma high. So it contains 3 types of data here. This is a list actually because it is enclosed in within a square bracket. If you observe, 3 values are there in that list. First one is integer, second one itself is a list, third one is a string. Now whenever I say tuple of this and print the value, it will print a tuple for me. How to identify that whether it is a tuple or a list? Tuple will be identified using common brackets, pair of common brackets at the starting and ending, and list will be identified using a square bracket. Fine. So you will get a tuple. This is the tuple that you get. Next, how to create tuple using one more tuple. So this also you can do. How to do it? First initially take a tuple. Okay. It is t is equal to mango comma 34 comma high. So with these three values, I have created a tuple and it is stored in t. Now what I will do, t1 is equal to tuple of t. Means you are assigning one tuple value into one more variable. So if I print t1 now, I will get a tuple as the output. Okay. So suppose you want to compare the values within the tuples, you can use t is t1. Because it contains the same values, it is reporting it as true. Okay. It is same. That is why it outputs it as true. What is is here? Is acts as an operator. Okay. Is acts as an operator between two objects. Which are the objects? T is an object. T1 is also an object. Why it is like giving true here? Because it is a reference. Okay. T1 is a reference to T. Reference means what? To the same location, both T and T1 will be pointing. Okay. Next, how to extract the elements? Okay. In the tuple, it can be extracted using square brackets with the help of indexes. Okay. So for extracting the elements in a tuple, you again go for using what? The array method or the square bracket method. Okay. Now suppose if I say t is equal to so and so, this is a tuple with 3 like strings. Fine. Print of T of 1. T of 1 corresponds to banana, so it outputs this to me. Similarly, if I say T of 1 colon, this you are using in like the list also, fine, for extracting list also. But whenever you use it in tuple, what happens? 1 colon means starting from the first index, print all the elements, okay, in the tuple. So banana and apple is the like output that you get. Suppose if I say negative indexing, if I use negative index T of -1, it will point to the last element. So apple will be the output in this case. Next, how to modify the value in a tuple. Okay, so just observe here. If I try to modify the element in a tuple, I am trying to modify the 0th index value. Instead of mango, I want to store kiwi, K-I-W-I. So whenever I do that, okay, it will give you a type error. Okay, what is the type error that I get? Tuple object does not support item assignment. You cannot change the value. It is immutable, I told, right? Mutable means it can be changed. Immutable means the value cannot be changed, right? Now, we wanted to replace mangoes with kiwi, which did not work using the assignment. Okay. Now, how to do it if I want? I cannot do it using what? This method by assignment statement, whereas I can do T is equal to, okay, that means the same name is equal to, you add kiwi, comma, means you are adding, okay, kiwi at the like first location, plus means a concatenation operator, it acts like a concatenation operator here, and you will say T of 1 colon. 1 colon means what? From the first index as it is you take. So that means to say kiwi will be added to the 0th location, then banana, then apple. Observe one important point here. When you add a new element here like this, like kiwi is the new element that is added, you just give a comma after giving the value. So this is about the tuple value that can be appended. You are appending the value, you are not changing anything here, okay? You are appending the value, okay, into the starting position. This is the way to do it, okay? But by assignment or by using some index, you cannot change anything, right? Next, how to use assignment, tuple assignment, how you can assign the values to a tuple. Just observe here, tuple has a unique feature of having it at LHS of the assignment operator. What is LHS of the assignment operator? So x comma y, you are using 2 variables at a time, okay? So if you want to assign multiple variables at a time, okay, you can use tuples, okay? So what I'm doing here, right side I have 2 values, I know 10 and 20, which is a integer type. So left side I need to give 2 values which are comma separation. So I'll give x comma y is equal to 10 comma 20. X will be assigned to 10, y will be assigned to 20. So whenever I print it, I'll get this as the output. Next, say I have a list with 2 elements, hello and world is the list with 2 elements. X comma y is equal to ls. If I say ls is a list minded, I can use assignment, list assignment like this. X comma y, okay, is the like variable name, is equal to ls means 2 values are there, that is why it will be assigned to each variable. X will be assigned with the first value, y will be assigned with the second value, okay? So whenever I print, first value is hello, so it prints hello, second value, that is y, will print world for me, fine? So the replacement for this code is x is equal to ls of 0, y is equal to ls of 1. Mind that indexes can be used only with lists, whereas I cannot use it with tuples. For tuple, there is a different mechanism. I have already shown you how to change the value in a tuple. Okay. Next, the best known example, okay, for using tuples or assignment of tuples is swapping of 2 values. So suppose a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20 are the 2 values that I take. I say a comma b equals b comma a. So what is happening here? B comma a will be assigned to a and b. Okay, from right side to left side the assignment statement works. So what happens in this case, whenever I give a comma b equals b comma a, this b value will become the new a value, and this a value, the original a value, will become the new b value. So whenever I print, it will be swapped. I have taken 10 and 20 as the values. After swapping, I will get 20 and 10 as the output. Fine. Now, in this example, okay, a comma b equals b comma a is treated by Python as LHS. Okay, LHS is a set of variables and RHS is a set of expressions. This is what is done internally. Okay, LHS will be treated as a pair of values, that is variables, and RHS, it will treat that as a pair of expressions or expressions. Okay. Next, expressions in RHS are evaluated and assigned to respective variables in LHS. This is how an assignment statement works. It works from right side to left side. Okay. So that is why the right side values are computed first, then the corresponding variables in the left hand side will be assigned with that value. Okay. Now suppose if I use like this, what is happening here? There is a mismatch in the number of arguments in the right hand side, number of values in the right hand side, and the number of variables in the left hand side. In the left hand side, if you observe, there are only two values, right? There are only two values. But in the right hand side, I have 10, 20, 5. That means 3 values. So what happens here? There is a mismatch in the number of items. Okay. If there were 3 variable names here, it would have been done. Otherwise, what happens? It will give you a value error. What is the value error that you get? Too many values to unpack. Unpacking means assigning it to the corresponding variable. That's all. Unpacking means take the value from the right hand side, put it to the right variable in the left hand side. That is called unpacking. So it says too many values to unpack in the right hand side. Okay. Next. Now whenever you assign multiple variables, the RHS can be of any type. Okay. It can be list, string or tuple. Just observe here. I have taken one example to explain this. So email is equal to so and so. I have given some email, mamata@ieee.org, whatever it is. Fine. So some email ID you will give and you will store it in a variable called email. Now if I say username comma domain is equal to email.split, I am using split function on this particular string, right? Email is a string, on that I am using split function. How I am splitting? I am splitting based on the @ symbol. So whatever is before that will be the username, whatever is after that will be taken as a domain. So username and domain, okay, will be used to extract the name and domain from the email ID. So I can do like this also. So let us stop here for the day. We'll continue with dictionaries and tuples in the next class. Thank you, students.